Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. I hope everyone's been doing well since my last video and that you found at least a little time to do some sewing. May continues to be a pretty busy time for me. I have gotten a couple of things sewn since my last video that I want to share. This past week, my husband and I and our 3 dogs took a trip to a small town in northwestern Arkansas called Eureka Springs. We go there usually every year or two. It's a really quaint little town, very historic. It's got like a Victorian vibe. It's very artsy, craftsy. They have a historic downtown area that's got a lot of little shops, and it has really good restaurants that we enjoy eating at. Sometimes we take our RV, but this last time we just rented a little house from Airbnb that was dog friendly. And it was about maybe 9 or 10 miles from town, and we really liked staying there. It was just a block or two from the river, so in the evenings we were able to walk our dogs down by the river and give them some exercise. Also, the place we rented had a really big backyard, so I think our dogs were really happy with the place we rented. While we were there, I looked online to see if there were any fabric stores nearby, and they had one fabric store listed. It was a quilting store, which I knew would have a lot of quilters cotton. I don't really quilt, but I do buy quilters cotton from time to time for a lot of my non-apparel projects, especially if I'm making like some kitchen gifts or tote bags or little purses or pouches. So I thought it might be fun to go and see if they had any cute prints. But when I found their Facebook page, I think it was, the last entry by the owner was in April, and it said because her husband was having some bad health problems, she was having to close her store. She'd had it open for 8 years, so she would be closing at the end of April, and she would be having everything on sale up until it closed. So because it's already May, I missed it by 2 or 3 weeks. So I was kind of disappointed in that store not being open, and also sorry about her circumstances that led up to it. And there didn't really seem to be any other fabric stores in that town. But it was still fun. We didn't really buy much, but we definitely ate some really good food. So in this video, I have 2 things to talk about and show you. One is a t-shirt that I've just made, and one's just a little purse accessory that I've made as a gift. But before we get started, I'll just talk about what I'm wearing. It is a me-made item. If you saw my last video, I did a review on this cardigan. It's the pleated sleeve cardigan by Unfettered patterns. It is a free pattern, and I showed it in my last video and talked about it. I had it on my dress form, but I don't think I actually tried it on for you guys. So this is how it looks. I just put it over just a little pink tank top because it is sort of low cut, and it is slightly cropped. And the original pattern is just short sleeves, but I had lengthened it into a long sleeve. And I really like this little pleated detail on the front. It's a very lightweight cardigan. If you did see my last video, you will probably remember that my machine was having problems making buttonholes, so I actually had to just sew these buttons directly onto the sweater. But it slips easily over my head. But all in all, I do like this cardigan, and I think it's perfect for spring in this lightweight wool jersey that I've made it up in. So the t-shirt I have on my dress form today is the Gem Knit Tee by Style Art Patterns. Now, I believe this is the second Style Art pattern I've made. Last winter I had made a sweater, but this is the first one that I've gotten that was a printed pattern by them. The other one was a PDF that I had to, put together. But this one I had purchased off Amazon when they were having a 20% off sale. So it was nice, not having to tape everything together. Because it was their printed pattern, it did have all the sizes on it, so I had to be really careful, cutting the pattern pieces out. They did have different colors of lines for the different sizes, but some of the colors were really similar, so I had to be kind of careful in cutting out each pattern piece. This t-shirt comes in a wide range of sizes from 4 to 36. and that is a bust range of 30 1/3 inches to 67 3/4 inches for the bust. Now, if you go to the Style Arc website, on each pattern they'll have a review section, and some of them will have lots of reviews and some will just have a few, but this one had several reviews, and I like to read the reviews to see if people feel like it's true to size or oversized, or if they sized down a size or two, or what they just thought about it. And this pattern got a lot of good reviews. Everyone seemed to like it. They said, some of them said it was like their favorite t-shirt pattern. They did say it's a slightly fitted t-shirt, and some said that they thought it was more fitted than the drawing. On their website, they just have the drawing. They don't have different models wearing the t-shirt, but no one said they had to downsize, and pretty much everyone just made it according to their measurements. So that's what I decided to do, and according to my measurements, I hit the size 8. So this t-shirt is on here is a size 8. I think it is drafted for a height of 5'6", and I'm 5'2". One thing I liked about this pattern is that the sides are not just straight, that they do go in at the waist to give you some shape. And so what I did was I just put the pattern up to me to see if where it dipped in the most was where my waist hit. And even though I'm short, I'm fairly long-waisted, and I felt like the smallest part of it did hit the smallest part of me. So I didn't want to shorten any of this area above the waist, to the waist. So I wanted to take my 2 inches out of the bottom. Now on the pattern, it didn't have a line to shorten or lengthen. And I didn't want to just take it off the bottom because it would have taken off a lot of this fullness that's there for the hips. So what I did was actually I took about 1 inch off right here, maybe a couple inches below the waist, and then I went down a couple of inches and took another inch off, so that it was just, you know, kind of gradual. Those 2 inches were not just in one certain spot. And I think that worked out really well. This is just your basic tee, front pattern, back pattern, sleeve, and the only band is the neck band. The sleeves and the bottom are just hemmed, turned up and hemmed. The bottom hem is slightly dipped. It's not super exaggerated, but it is maybe 1 inch or 2, probably about 2 inches longer than the front edge in the center back. As many of you know, Style Arc pattern doesn't go into great detail on the construction. They usually don't have any diagrams, and that's true on this one. They had about, I think, 6 or 8 line items, but it just pretty much follows any general directions for making a t-shirt. They do consider it an easy make, and if you've made 1 or 2 t-shirts, you won't have any problems with it. It does have 1/4 inch seam allowance, which at first I was a little concerned, and I found if my fabric's kind of rolly, it's harder sewing it with a very narrow seam allowance, but this fabric laid pretty flat. Now this fabric is from Stone Mountain and Daughter, which I ordered, I think, like a couple of months ago. It's a designer deadstock visco spandex jersey. This fabric has a very nice feel to it. It has a really nice drape, and it is fairly stretchy. It's got quite a bit of stretch in each direction. And on the pattern, it just says to make sure the biggest stretch is horizontal on your pattern pieces. This fabric's pretty stretchy both directions. It was a little stretchier in one, so I did make that the horizontal. It does suggest to use some of the elastic, clear elastic, on the shoulder seams, which I did. The only problems I really had, and it wasn't really a big problem with this, and when I got to the neckband seemed a little bit too long. This is just your normal neckband. You're joining the short ends of it together and then folding it lengthwise with right sides on the outside. And after you fold it in half lengthwise, it says to use I think a stretch knit stitch and just base the very edges together. And when I did that, it might have stretched it just a little bit. But when I put the neckband up to the neck edge, there wasn't that much stretching to do on the neckband. It was a little bit smaller, but I felt like if I just used the whole neckband that after it wouldn't lay flat, and especially if I washed it a time or two, it would probably been kind of floppy and stretched out. So what I did for this was I actually shortened my neckband, I think by 2 inches, to give it a little more stretch around here. And I think that turned out perfectly because it lays right now really nice and flat. I haven't washed it again since I made it, but I think it's tight enough. I mean, it doesn't pucker or anything, but I think it's tight enough that it's not going to stretch out after I wash it. And I'm going to try to remember to hang it to dry and not put it in the dryer because I'm really bad about just tossing everything into the dryer. So I think my neckband looks good. I like this slightly dipped neckline. I like the length of the sleeves, and I think they could easily be adjusted shorter if you like short sleeves. I think that length's cute too. And then like I said, I like how the side dips, and I like how it's fitted up here, but then it's got ease around the midriff and the hips. So I really like this t-shirt pattern. I think of all the t-shirt patterns I've made, this may be my favorite. I like the way the body fits. I like the neckline. It was easy to put together. I like the length of the sleeves, and I like the slightly dipped hem in the back. So I do feel like I'll be making this pattern again in the future. I do like the length after I took the 2 inches off, and I think now I'm going to go try it on so you can see how it looks on me. So here's how the finished t-shirt looks on me. I really like the way it fits. I like the slightly fitted through the chest, and I think it fits well on the shoulders. I like how it just kind of skims the torso, and it is loose around the hip area. It does slightly dip in the back. So now this is 2 inches shorter than the pattern, and I think it's a good length on me. This fabric is so soft, it's so comfortable. A couple things I really liked about this fabric was that it had a little white in it, so it looked good with white jeans or shorts or skirt, and also that it has a dark gray background. It seems like a lot of the darker knit prints will have a black background or maybe a dark navy, and that just kind of gives off more of a winter vibe to me. So I think the dark gray, even though it's dark, it's more maybe summery. And I think the dark gray, it just looks better with my skin tone than say a black or a navy. So that was the Gem Knit Tee by Starlight Patterns. I've just got one other little item to share with you that I made up this month, and it's going to be part of a little birthday gift for my sister. I have 2 sisters. For their birthdays and Christmas, I like to put something with their gift, either the main gift or just something with the gift that I have made personally for them. So right after Christmas, I had released a video about the gifts I had made for my family for Christmas. And one of the items that I had made for my sisters was the forage bag by Noodlehead Patterns, which is a free pattern. I had actually made 6 of them, I think, for Christmas. And the one I made for the sister that's having the birthday this month was a little farm print that had chickens and cows, sheep, goats, horses, because she and her husband do have a small farm. I had a few scraps from it. They were really small because I had also made another bag for my niece. So I had some very small fabric pieces for it. So I was trying to think maybe what I could make with that to go with her purse. So I found this little pattern called Crisscross Cards. It was on the So Modern Bag website, and I believe it's by Geny C Artes. This is a free pattern. It's very simple. Although the pattern itself calls for quilter's cotton for the exterior and the interior, the fabric I had used for my sister's bag at Christmas is by Spoonflower, and it was their Spoonflower's denim fabric. Now I'd kind of forgotten how thick this fabric was, and that it had kind of given me some problems on the corners when I was trying to like sew through the bag and turn the bag. And I kind of ran into those same problems with this little snapped card holder. I used the kind of the turquoise teal fabric that I had used on the purse on the main body because the animal print was just one direction, and if I had used it over here, then it was going to make part of the design upside down. Because if I would have had the heads up on this, then the bodies would be upside down. So I decided to use the turquoise part for the outside, and then it's got these 4 little triangle corners that you slip your cards, like you could slip your driver's license or your credit cards into. And I used the animal print for that, and I've got like the chicken, and I think there's a goat and a sheep, and this has ponies, kind of got the different animals showing. Now this is strictly to use for, like, say a card, like your driver's license or credit card. I think you could fold up some paper money, you know, and kind of stick it behind your cards, but it doesn't have a place for coins or anything. But it's just a fun, simple, and I thought a pattern, and I thought it would be a nice accessory for this little bag I had made. That way she could put her driver's license and credit card in here and then slip it in her bag, and then, you know, be able to find that stuff easily. So when you go to their website, which I'll link, when you go to this little card holder, you'll have to select it in an order, but the price of it is $0. It doesn't cost anything. And then once you purchase the free item, you'll have a download. So then it'll come with some complete instructions and the pattern pieces. And it calls on their pattern piece for quilter's cotton. So I want to make this again because I think it will be so much easier to make, even though it was fairly easy with this. Or if you had a lightweight canvas on the outside and the quilter's cotton on the inside, then that would work out well too. It does call for like a medium type interfacing on, I think, pretty much all the pieces except for maybe this one lining piece. And then it also has you cut some fusible fleece, which I happen to have. So it does have some thickness, and even if it was quilter's cotton, it would have, you know, a little bit of body to it that way. I did get to use my cam snap press on this little bag, so I'm always excited when I get to use a new gadget. So I've got my snap from Cam Snap, a little metal snap, which I think it looks really cute. Now on this thicker material, I don't think you could use a plastic cam snap. I don't think it would hold. But with the quilter's cotton, you could use just a plastic cam snap. If you didn't have a snap, you could also probably use just Velcro strip. But anyway, the pattern goes together really easily. Like I said, the only problem I had was on these corners because it was so bulky with the interfacing and with this denim. This denim is just so thick because on these corners, they're actually supposed to be square corners, but mine turned out more curved here. Now this one is curved on the pattern. But anyway, I think it turned out really cute. And I think it's just a good accessory if you're making someone a bag, or even if you're making someone maybe just a zippered pouch, that this would be a good accessory and a set to put with your other gift. So this is going to be part of her birthday gift. She did like the bag I made for Christmas, and she's been kind of saving it to wear this summer because it's, I think, more of a summery looking bag than a winter bag. So that was Crisscross Cards by Geny C Artes. So that kind of wraps up this video. Now that I'm back home from our little trip, I hope to get some sewing started this week. I'm not sure what my next apparel item is going to be. I have a lot of cute t-shirt knit prints to make some little tops with. But I also want to make another item from a Make 9, and it has a pretty tiered summer skirt on that Make 9 list that I've talked about. Also, I'm still busy working on some items that I'm going to be making for my Operation Christmas Child shoe boxes. These are going to be items for children, and these items, you know, will work well as gifts for charities or non-charities or just any children that you have in your life. I think everyone's going to like them. Anyway, I'm still getting those items finished and hoping to maybe get that video out in June. I was hoping for May, but May's getting away from me. I think in my next video, I'm going to be showing some fabrics that I got recently from Minerva. A few more spring summer type fabrics, and also some non-apparel fabrics that I got from them. So that will be my next video. I'll probably have it out in about a week since there's not much prep work for that one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. I also love to hear comments. Let me know if you have made the gem tee and if you liked it, or what your favorite t-shirt pattern is. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll know exactly when my next video comes out. So until I see you in my next video, take care and happy sewing.